What day is it? Tuesday, March 14th. Oh, it's Pi Day 3.14. I feel really out of it and sleep deprived. Very late last night, I officially announced it. I sent out one mass email to our mailing list for the meetup group for Learn, Teach, Code, and it went out to almost 5,000 people. And so here's the email that I sent out last night. Hi, Curious Coders. I'm really excited to announce the pilot program of our very own programming bootcamp. This will be a project-based course aimed at beginners who already know the basics of JavaScript but aren't sure how to make the leap from beginner tutorials to building real-world projects. And I have a link, full details, and application form here. And below that, I have some highlights. Bullet points, right? People like bullet points. A 4-week intro to full-stack JavaScript, combining in-person class time, virtual mentorship, and self-study. We'll build a group project together, working in small teams and collaborating over GitHub, in addition to smaller challenges and hands-on workshops. In-class sessions meet on Saturdays from April 8th to April 29th, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Cross Campus, downtown LA. We're using one of their rooms as our classroom, which is awesome. We do not have any official endorsement or sponsorship or anything from them in any way, so we are not affiliated with them. And then I say the commitment is at least 10 hours per week, about half in class and half virtual self-study. The 4-week course is $300 total. I did settle on that, with a few full scholarships available. And then finally I say, Liz, that's me, will offer all of her waking hours to provide as much one-on-one mentorship, pair programming, and code reviews as you need. Smiley face. And then I say, if you have any questions, right, feel free to email me. And then I say, I really hope you can be part of our journey towards creating the most accessible, affordable, highest quality tech education ever. Right? This is what I want to make. We want to burst the overpriced programming bootcamp bubble. This is just the first step, of course, but one day we hope to scale this up into a sustainable nonprofit program. And whether or not you can participate this time, I also just want to say thank you for your ongoing support in supporting our mission to get more people learning and teaching and coding together. All the best, Liz Crane, founder, Learn, Teach, Code. So when I was drafting the application form and the program outline over the last few days, I sent it to a lot of people for feedback. The 2 people I really want to give a special shout out to, first, Samantha. Thank you so much. Samantha was a former student at a Girl Develop It workshop. I think it was Intro to HTML and CSS. So we met quite a while ago, but we've stayed in touch and become friends. At least I think of us as friends, even though we don't get to hang out too often yet. But I hope we can change that so we don't live too far away from each other. Anyway, Samantha saw my video blog, the first one that I posted last week, and she messaged me this very kind text message, just being super supportive and saying, like, Liz, you got this. Like, I know you can be a great teacher. And she said, I want to take your class. I want to take the class too. She said that despite seeing this video blog where I talk about how I am anxious and I've dealt with depression and I am not feeling super confident and I am not an expert at this stuff. And despite all of that, or maybe partly because of it, she said she wants to take my class. And that is the most important vote of confidence I could ever hope for. So thank you so much, Samantha, for being there for me. Thank you so much for your feedback, and you really put a lot of time into reviewing the application form for me, and you came up with some ideas for changes that I never would have thought of, and that none of my other friends thought of either. So thank you. And I guess following up on that, the theme of the day, of the week for me, has really been the power of vulnerability. And I actually went back and rewatched a TED Talk by the same name, I think her name is Brene Brown. Or anyway, if you Google the power of vulnerability on a TED Talk video, you'll find it. It's worth a watch. It really reminds me that just learning how to be open, be vulnerable about my weaknesses and my challenges, and just talk about it and not be afraid to just say, hey, I am imperfect, just like everybody else, and I'm happy to talk about it. Practicing that skill has certainly it changed my life more than anything else I've done, more than learning to code. more than getting over my social anxiety and learning how to meet new people. Just learning how to talk about myself openly like that has made all the difference. It's helped me learn how to connect with other people and feel connected, feel like I have support. Other shout out, I want to send a huge thank you to Paul Lumsdane, above and beyond in giving me feedback, very thoughtful feedback, piece by piece, tearing apart my first draft, right? Which is what first drafts are meant for, to be torn apart in an insightful, constructive way. And that's exactly what he did. He is clearly an expert in UX because he looked at it from a perspective that none of my other friends did, nor myself, and really, really helped me. Thank you. Thank you so much, Paul. Okay, what else did I want to talk about? Back to the point about vulnerability. There is a counterpoint to this. All of my friends convinced me to take out a piece of the application form in the description part where basically I called it my disclaimer. Kind of similar to my very first YouTube video where I talk about how I wanted to learn everything and make a video blog teaching things that I'm learning. That was back when I went all out with the production values and learning motion graphics with After Effects and all that stuff. I had a lot of fun. Very time consuming. Anyway, in that I gave a disclaimer. And my disclaimer was that I'm not an expert, but I'm passionate about learning, and I think there is a value in that. And so I guess I wanted to get that across, but my disclaimer turned out to be too self-deprecating, and everybody told me, take it out. It's one thing to be open and vulnerable, but it is another thing to advertise your own self-criticism. I should not share my self-judgment, right? I should not judge myself first and then put that out there. Instead, I should put out my raw data and let people judge for themselves how they think they would benefit from learning with me. If they think I can offer them something valuable, I will let them be the judge. My brain is not working. I'm so tired. I'm so sleepy. I said it's the moment of truth. I sent out the email. So here are the stats. When I woke up this morning, I had one response. Two responses yesterday from an early launch that I did to our Slack chat room. And so two people who I already know quite well, who volunteered with our group, said they want to take the class, but they need a full scholarship. Totally cool with me. I want that to be a big component of this from the beginning is people who need scholarships can get scholarships from the very start. My fear was, of course, that I'm going to get a ton of responses and every single person is going to say, oh, sorry, I can't pay for it. And I had not considered that possibility. Next thing that happened after I sent out that official email last night, my heart is pounding. Anyway, so I got one response before I went to bed. I was really excited about that one response. But then, of course, knowing me with the self-criticism thing, I went to bed thinking, or tried to go to bed, right? I was up until 4 a.m. Just lied in bed thinking, that's going to be the only person. Maybe this is a complete disaster. I just around and around in my head, just going in circles about all the doomsday scenarios I could think of. And then this morning, nothing. I woke up at 9 o'clock. Nothing. But then right before I started filming this video blog, I have now 6 responses and now 4 people want to pay me for my time. And now between starting this video blog and now I just refreshed the page and it looks like I have 8 responses, so 2 more in the last 30 minutes, and let's see if they're saying they can pay for it. They both said yes, they want to pay me. Oh my god, this is crazy. I can't believe that somebody thinks this is actually valuable to them, because I have really, hopefully I have not misled them. I'm going to make sure that, I'm going to do a round of interviews, and I'm going to make sure that when we talk face to face, I'm going to ask them that they understand my qualifications, or lack thereof. And I guess this is the point that I want to wrap up on today. If there's one thing that I learned yesterday and today especially, I got a comment on YouTube from somebody who said on my last vlog saying, why don't you work in industry for a couple years to build up your qualifications first and then teach? And I felt like he was just missing the whole point. My goal, actually, I don't think my goal is to work full-time as a software developer. I don't know if I like programming enough to do it all day, every day in that sense, because there's so many other things that I love equally as much, like creating media, creating games, telling stories, writing articles, giving talks. As scared as I am of it, I love public speaking now. It's such a rush. It's terrifying and exhilarating all at once. And I always learn something from it. And I love teaching, and I love learning new things. And like I said before, that's my dream job, to get paid to learn new things somehow. So maybe I'm more of a journalist or a storyteller than anything. I investigate stuff, and then I find a way to tell the story in a way that will make other people interested in it and empathize with the story and want to know more and make it less intimidating, hopefully, and just help people see that they're not alone in being a learner. So that comment, that YouTube comment, I forget the person's name, but thank you for writing that comment, because it really did help me hone in on why I'm doing this. This is an experiment to test my hypothesis. And my hypothesis is, I guess let's phrase it this way. Here's my research question. This is an experiment, and my research question for the experiment is, how closely together can I push learning and teaching? How much can I narrow that gap? Because I do see them as a very tightly interlinked feedback cycle. You don't have to wait until you're an expert to help other people learn. You can teach just by having a conversation with a friend. And it goes both ways. Just like beginners can teach, experts always have more to learn too. And an expert can learn from a beginner, right? Because everybody has such different skill sets. Nobody knows everything. That's one of the best and maybe sometimes worst parts of the whole tech industry, is that things change so fast. Nobody can keep up. And it's intimidating when you're jumping into it because you feel like you'll never catch up. But at the same time, it's an opportunity, because even the experts can't keep up. So if everything is changing constantly, you have room to create a niche for yourself and become an expert at some very small piece that the experts who've been programming for 20 years don't have time to learn because they're busy learning these other things. So everybody has something to offer each other. And I know this is like common sense stuff, right? It's like everybody already knows this. But it takes a lot of work to truly believe it. It's certainly taken me a long time to start to believe it myself, that I can offer value. So that's my hypothesis. I think me as a non-expert can still offer tremendous value to people in just general, moral support. I can help other people learn more faster and not give up, just by virtue of being a friend and listening to them. And if we don't know the answer to something, I will Google it for them. I will put in extra hours to do the research and find the experts and get that information and relay it back to them. So just in the last couple of hours, I've had this huge roller coaster of several ups and downs, from thinking I'm a complete failure to thinking this is a huge success. Look at all these people signing up already, and it hasn't even been 24 hours yet. So we'll see what happens by tomorrow. Anyway, so my next steps are, I guess, setting up the interviews, replying to everybody to thank them for filling out the form, making a time to talk to them one-on-one. And then, of course, I need to figure out, what am I going to ask them in the interview? What are good interview questions? Should I do a coding challenge? Should I get really personal? I need to script that out and do some outlining for that too. And then, of course, the most important part, which I have yet to even start, is building the app myself. The app that I'm going to have other people build, I need to build it myself, and I haven't started on that yet. I can't go back on my word now. This is definitely going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. I'm excited. Honestly, I've thought about this for many months. Like, wouldn't it be amazing if I could just work full time on this stuff? Now I have an opportunity to try it. And even if it fails, at least I tried. At least I'm going to put my heart and soul into it. And even if it fails, at least I will have learned something from the process. I should really turn this off and wrap it up.